What an amazing year for video games 2025 was. Here we are with another end of the year list, best and worst. A lot of bests and a few stinky worsts. Who will win this year's Golden RoboCop Head Award for best? And who will win the dreaded and disgraceful Murphy Pendleton Award for worst? Welcome to Under the Mayo's Best and Worst of 2025. Alright, you guys know the rules. Number 1, any game I played for the first time in 2025 counts. So some of these will be older titles that were new to me, but most are from last year. 2, while it should go without saying, if I didn't play it, it's not going to be on the list. Mayo, what about the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake? Didn't play it. I didn't play Silksong or Arc Raiders or Expansion 33, so if you don't see it here, I didn't play it, or I don't feel strongly enough to comment. And Tormented Souls 2 is not here because it bugged out too many times and I quit because it pissed me off. Maybe next year. 3, early access games are not allowed on the list, finished games only. And introducing a new rule, any game I'm significantly involved in cannot make the list. That's why there's no Total Chaos or Wizardom. I'm too close to the projects, but here I am mentioning them in the intro. Of course I think they're awesome. Alright, enough preamble, let's get to the best games first. And how about this year we break it down into categories until we get to the top 5. Shooters. Metal Eden. I wanted to review Metal Eden when it came out, but I didn't really know what to say. I had already reviewed the demo, and I wasn't excited about the idea of repeating myself. I think G-Man Lives has a good enough video to represent the game. It's visually impressive at a time when most things don't impress me that much. The Doom Eternal style combat resource loop is well crafted, the music is cool. There's not a lot to say about it, not from my side of things. It was fun, I played it on the highest difficulty, it was pretty good. It had some issues, but I was able to send a report to the dev team and talked about it for a while. I hope it's in a better state now. I haven't checked. Moving on. Cruel. Oh, this one could have been top 5 if I'd stuck with it and it had more content at launch. What an addictive combat loop. You have to make it to the end of each floor of a burning building, the fire raging behind you so you're pressured to always move forward. Ammunition is very low, so you have to be precise with your shots, tactical with your movement, and smart with your use of melee and environmental objects like axes, bats, windows, and toilets. Each level gets harder and harder with a randomized upgrade reward before you go to the next. More ammo, more healing, super kick, healing from headshots. This game is like crack. Highly recommended. The game, not crack. Survival horror. The Mute House. The single best recreation of a classic Resident Evil title I've ever played. While Echoes of the Living is looking good in early access, and essentially plays like Resident Evil, The Mute House is the game that truly brought back the feeling. Beautifully implemented fixed camera angles, a fun headshot targeting system, excellent resource management, solid as fuck puzzles, 2 of them I got to help tweak a bit during the playtesting phase, there's my name right there in the credits, woo! And some genuinely terrifying moments make The Mute House a must-play for any enthusiast of the genre. Heartworm. My feelings on Heartworm are a little complicated. This is a title I didn't review because I did a big playtesting report for the director about 4 months before launch. Spending a week in communication, finding game-breaking bugs, talking about pacing and enemy placement and puzzle clues. It wasn't the game it is now, and playing it in 2 different states kinda messes with the review process. And yeah, I would have liked to just talk about it generally to promote it a bit, but it fell through the cracks. Heartworm is a game that, in my opinion, doesn't really shine in the gameplay department. It provides what it needs for a survival horror experience, some good puzzles, exploration, but really you play this one for the bold visual style, the gorgeous camera work, the absorbing and at times very compelling and elegant storytelling. It's one of those titles that I like to just stop and remember sometimes. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think if you really value the artistic side of classic survival horror, you shouldn't overlook Heartworm. There's just nothing else like it. Give it at least one playthrough and see for yourself. Action games. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Oof, I'm conflicted on this one. I freaking love the combat in this game when it gets going. The challenging fights can really push you. Some of the bosses are quite engaging. The Streets of Rage 4 style meter building system through combos was great to see. It's a fun game, I even 100%ed it, which I never do. But 100%ing it also exposed what's so wrong about it. The pacing is just plain bad. I wish this hadn't been a Metroidvania. I'm personally not into the whole, here's a little action and now figure out where you're supposed to go and run around for the next 5 minutes. And before anyone gets upset and accuses me of saying Metroidvania design is bad, no, that's not what I'm saying, but I think the way Shinobi does it is quite poor because the game is so obviously made for you to play to completion. Dozens and dozens of areas are locked off and can only be accessed by returning to previous levels with new abilities. There you'll discover new powers and upgrades. But for what? The game's over. Is this for boss rush mode? That's it? And re-entering these levels, you soon realize they're empty. The best fights in the game, the challenge fights, and the big moments of intense combat, they don't reappear when you replay a level. You get the common enemy spawns, that's it. So you're running through levels you already played, and half the combat is missing. It's boring. And there's no new game plus for all these upgrades. And there's no unlockable hard mode either, it's just the normal difficulty. And then nowhere to go with all this new stuff. It's bizarre. It's upsetting because I had a blast with a good chunk of the campaign once it started rolling around level 4. I love the final boss fight, and the art style, oh man, it's gorgeous. Pure eye candy. This could have been top 5, it's just too uneven. Ninja Gaiden 2. I had only played Ninja Gaiden 1, Sigma. Yeah, I know, it's not the true experience, it's gutted, I get it. I only played it twice, once in 2007, again in 2021. For as messed up as Sigma is, I still enjoyed the combat as a casual fan. Very uneven campaign, many bosses I didn't enjoy, some shitty levels, but the combat is so fun that I love it. I'm sure the original version is far better. As I saw Ninja Gaiden 4 was coming out last year, I said, I think it's time I finally play Ninja Gaiden 2. I hear it's legendary. I had the Master Collection on Steam, but that's Sigma 2, and I wanted something closer to the true experience. So with the help of a friend, I installed the Fiendabusa mod that reportedly makes Sigma 2 like 99% close to the true Ninja Gaiden 2 experience. I looked up a bunch of footage of the original to compare, and all the combat encounters looked identical, so I assume it was pretty close. And I loved it! I think I still prefer the first one simply for the campaign and the more memorable level design, but the evolution of combat in 2 is phenomenal. The obliteration technique is so good and makes even the craziest fights manageable. Improvements to item use and weapon switching make the combat smoother, the enemies are brutal and relentless, and some of the enemy swarms were just madness. I got stuck in several fights for hours, and I'm not complaining, I love when that happens. I totally get why people consider Ninja Gaiden 2 to be a masterpiece in terms of combat. I've spent time talking with fans about it, I've watched Mark's videos on the Electric Underground to better understand the triangle theory behind its combat. It's an awesome action game, it's just that the rest kinda fails in my opinion. The levels are uninteresting, the story, the boss fights, for the most part, no. The campaign's pacing, I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I'm just a fan of how it plays, and how it plays is truly incredible. I wish we had more games like it. Maybe we will someday. Absalom! I gotta admit, I geeked out a bit when I got a sponsored video offer from Dotemu, the publisher of Streets of Rage 4, one of my top 10 games of all time. They want to give me money to talk about their next title? Well, yeah, obviously, as long as it's good. And boy oh boy is it good. It's got that Streets of Rage 4 feel to the combat, a stunning art style, fun character dialogue and story moments that are revealed as you repeat the campaign, lots of cool upgrades to find on every run as it is a roguelite. I don't have many complaints. I did 2 videos on it, I don't want to repeat myself again. The only reason this isn't a top 5 game is the roguelite structure. Like Hades, I love everything about the game except for the fact that it's not a traditional campaign. I don't want to play the same 3 or 4 levels over and over, unless it's Spelunky or Dead Cells. I want a well-structured, intentionally paced 2 to 10 hour single-player playthrough that I can then master on higher difficulties, like a classic beat-em-up or hack and slash. It's just a personal preference thing. Many people are thrilled with the roguelite direction of Absalom, and I'm happy for them. For me, 30 hours is enough. I've gotten what I wanted from it, it's fantastic, I think everyone should check it out. But I will always be here wondering what could have been. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Yes, it was the year of Ninja Gaiden, for better or for worse, with the remaster of Sigma 2, the brand new entry in the 3D series Ninja Gaiden 4, and a surprise 2D throwback title made by the studio behind Blasphemous. I was super excited for this one. Looks great, feels great, simple, classic, unique. But challenging? That's the point of contention. Ninja Gaiden, whether it's 2D or 3D, is legendary for its difficulty, so it's mind-boggling that hard mode is locked behind a full campaign completion. Are you kidding? Do you know how many people come to Ninja Gaiden specifically to get their asses kicked? It's not a negligible number. It's how the series has been for almost 40 years. I'm sure this normal default difficulty was fine for some, but there was some real disappointment about this decision. When so many enemies can just be easily run past while checkpoints refill your health, it's not right. Fortunately, in the early game, you're able to buy these medallions that buff your character, but there's also several that debuff you. Triple enemy damage, no health on checkpoint, no checkpoints at all. This was enough to get me by. Triple damage made every decision meaningful. It made every boss fight intense. It made every mistake hurt. I loved it. I actually loved it more than the eventually unlocked hard mode once I beat the game. Hard mode is very different in its balance and pacing. There's a lot more enemies, it's hard in a different way. I ended up preferring the pacing of normal mode, but with the extreme damage modifier. And it was cool that I could play like that. It leads me to wonder how okay this kind of game design is. Should we be offering higher challenging modes at the outset, or should we offer modifiers to make a default difficulty more interesting for the people who want challenge? I don't know where I sit on that question. I don't know if I'll ever have a strong feeling one way or another. I know one thing for sure, I would have enjoyed DMC 5 a lot more in 2020 if that default Devil Hunter playthrough had a modifier for triple damage and triple enemy HP. So yeah, Ragebound was good, but you had to make it good yourself if you were looking to be pushed into the fun zone. And if you're watching this channel, that's likely what you want. Okay, we have arrived at the top 5 best games I played in 2025. In order, starting right here at number 5, it's Butcher's Creek. Ooh, how many of you got that one? You may have gotten a clue if you noticed I actually tried speedrunning the game on Twitch when it came out. I never do that. I could only speedrun something if I loved it. The atmosphere is dirty, depressing, bleak. I had to change my tone of voice in the video just to talk about it. The story it tells is captivating, dolled out at just the right pace. It's scary, brutal, and unlike anything I saw last year. Butcher's Creek was a grower for me. I liked it on the first playthrough enough to give it a second go because it was pretty short. Why not, right? Then I played it again, and again, and again, falling in love with the incredibly fun combat options, the visceral violence against janky enemies, cutting their heads off, blowing them up with gas cans, knocking them into pits. It made me want to play faster and faster. And when you do that, you start really engaging in the mechanics. It is far from perfect, but my time with it was so good, it's undeniable. I liked it so much that it went on to help us as we created the combat flow of Total Chaos. There were already important similarities early in development. Melee-focused combat, throwable environmental items, a parry option that refills stamina, weapon durability, all of this was already in Total Chaos from early on. Late 2024, I suggested we add a stun mechanic to give throwable items a stronger role, which would allow us to increase combat intensity in enemy numbers. It felt really good, but something was still missing. About 2 months later, I played Butcher's Creek. I got on a call with the director of Total Chaos, and I asked him to just watch me play about 30 minutes of this interesting little horror game by David Zemansky. I said, look at this combat flow, see how I'm multitasking, using various options as I prioritize different enemies? This is really fun. What can we learn from this? That's kind of my job when I work on a game like Total Chaos, to help lead people smarter than me in interesting directions. From there, he came up with the impalement mechanic, where shivs, scissors, and pickaxes can be thrown into enemies for stun states and damage, as well as enemy-specific weaknesses like throwing bricks or certain weapons into the Splinter's mouth to stop his acid spit attack. Enemies started to become crafted around the player's combat options, resulting in the miner whose helmet can be knocked off with a throwable, his gas tank can be targeted, it can even be parried if he throws it at you. The game really found its flow after we had that call. A little part of Total Chaos's greatness is owed to Butcher's Creek, and that's a part of why it's here at the number 5 spot. Thank you, David Zemansky, for making such a cool and original game, and for the inspiration it caused. Number 4, Devil May Cry 4. I am officially a Devil May Cry fan. No, I don't follow the story. No, I don't spend hundreds of hours on Dante Must Die difficulty trying to perfect infinite combos and get high rankings. But I'll be damned if I don't just love the combat when the rubber hits the road. And this time around, the art style too. I've always been kinda in the middle when it comes to the art design of the Devil May Cry series. I think Devil May Cry 5 is kinda ugly, but I like the first game's use of fixed camera in the areas where they show off the environment. But during combat, I find both DMC1 and DMC3 to have some serious visibility issues. It's the one thing you gotta give to the God of War series, they knew how to frame a fight. DMC4, however, ends up handling the camera far better than its predecessor DMC3. Not only are there some absolutely mind-blowing cinematic camera movements, like the approach to the castle, showing beautifully how fixed camera, tracking camera, and various other techniques can work together to create a compelling visual style for a game, but it also does a pretty good job of framing the combat most of the time. I rarely struggled with visibility. In the combat discussion, I love Nero's kit. I love his focus on air juggles and grapples. Oh man, that grapple is so fun. I love the exceed mechanic, even though I suck at those frame-perfect charges. I think I like most of the enemies more than the ones from DMC3. I remember having a great time in most of the boss fights, especially on my Son of Sparta playthrough. Man, I just really got into the flow of this one. DMC3 last year was my number 1 pick. It was my first time playing it, and it beat everything else from 2024 that was new. That's how much I liked the combat in that game. Son of Sparta and Dante Must Die in DMC3 made a man out of me, and I took that knowledge straight into DMC4 and started whooping ass. DMC4 still has a lot of the balance issues that I have with various entries in the series. A lot of the cheesy baby mode ultra forgiving additions that spoiled my first DMC5 playthrough back in 2020 appear to have originated here in DMC4. So I still have some serious issues with it, but at this point I know what I'm getting myself into, and I'm not going to harp on past entries for things I already explained in length years ago. The game was a blast. I loved it until the Dante sections, which make me not want to play the game anymore. God damn, DMC4 is great. Might even like it more than DMC3, and the fact that it's not number 1 this year just shows how much I enjoyed the other titles. Now for a slightly controversial pick. Number 3, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Well, it's not controversial to me. I love it. You know, when I make a guide for a game, it's gonna be top 5. The reason I think it'll be controversial is 1, some people think Shredder's Revenge is better, which I'll never understand. 2, I just put a button-mashy, family-friendly, casual beat-em-up a spot above Devil May Cry 4. Someone's bound to be upset about that. Calm down, it's gonna be okay. And 3, I just think a lot of people are gonna say, really? I mean, it was cool, but top 3? There were so many other better games. And you're probably right. All I can do is share my experience. I just find this game to be so fun. I think it's the perfect mix of the casual couch co-op mash button gameplay for the whole family and the serious hardcore difficulty searcher when it comes to action games. I'm not saying it's the new Streets of Rage, I'm not saying it's better than Turtles in Time or Final Vendetta, but Cosmic Invasion took what I liked about Shredder's Revenge and made it better, removed what I didn't like, while adding new things that I love. The distinct character identities, classic Marvel superheroes era special moves, animations, and voice lines, a robust combo juggling system with awesome ways to pick up stray launchers, tying combos to your focus bar and health regeneration, a solid single-player campaign experience via the tag team feature, and an arcade mode on launch with 3 difficulties and a dozen modifiers. I'm playing this thing on hard, double enemy HP, faster enemies with 4-player enemy count solo. It's a nightmare, and I'm happy. It's got bullshit and bugs like anything, but coming in right at the end of the year, Marvel Cosmic Invasion swooped me away and stole my heart. And my brain, depending on who you're talking to. Number 2, Doom the Dark Ages. Surprise, surprise, Doom is near the top of the list. I guess what they say about me is true. No, it's not my number one, but it could have been. I put over 500 hours into the Dark Ages. I published like 20 videos over the year. I streamed a ridiculous amount of hours. I gained 10 pounds with whiskey and pizza, thanks Doom. But seriously, what an awesome game. I didn't think I was gonna love it as much as I do. It took 2 playthroughs to really find the magic, but that's okay. Lots of people needed a couple playthroughs for Eternal to click, let's not forget that. And after some quick balance patches, it was in a good place. After 5 years of floaty, fast weapon swap comboing, air dashing, grapple hook madness as seen in Doom Eternal and all the shooters that came after it, a shift into heavy, grounded brutality was so refreshing. I didn't need to fly like a bird or memorize weapon swap cancel keybinds. This time I was up in their face, punching, bashing, sawing my way through the armies of hell. Doom Eternal's faltering system was front and center this time, evolved and expanded. The resource loop was switched up to give ammo from melee strikes and armor from various tools like the flail, combat shotgun, and shield rune. As a sort of RPG hybrid, the Dark Ages has you investing in the weapons you carry forth into combat as a character build finding synergies, rather than cycling through all your guns for enemy weaknesses and ammo restraints. It's a different flow this time, but one that still emphasizes constant engagement in the game's core systems. Parry-focused titles are hit or miss for me, as I've explained, but this one falls on the hit side. People have told me that I'm a fan of reactionary parries and not so much anticipatory memorization-based parries. I think that's accurate. I think that explains why I like the parry mechanic in some games but not others. I found the emphasis on parries and melee in the Dark Ages to be quite fun and very arcadey feeling. While I'm not a big fan of medieval settings in video games, the Dark Ages mix of science fiction future technology and demonic hellscapes with medieval themes was entertaining. There's some gorgeous art direction, and the introduction of the Cosmic Realms showed us the best looking Doom level in maybe the entire series? I love the fuck out of Doom the Dark Ages, but it was not a long-time content source like Eternal was. I never expected it to be. How could anything do for me what Eternal did? But I got a good 4 months out of it. It was a great summer. I've made my issues with the game clear, and they are the ones that are echoed by many in the YouTube Doom community, as well as your standard reviewer types. Not a fan of the Titan levels, not a fan of the Dragon levels, maps can be a bit too big, campaign kinda drags, story doesn't do much for me, music wasn't really my thing. It's all visuals and combat for me. I love the updates that made weapon switching faster, the option to modify slow-mo, real-time melee and shield rune switching, and I championed the inclusion of difficulty modifiers since the day they were announced. Love them. Very happy that I could adjust the resource balance and parry window. Very happy that others could adjust the game speed. As long as there are set difficulty presets to go by, include all the modifiers you want. That's my take. There's no shame in second place. It may not have hit the number 1 spot, but it was the game I played the most by far. Eternal's still my number 1, but after that, it's probably tied because I prefer 2016's mood, storytelling, and music over the Dark Ages, but the Dark Ages combat really does it for me, so I'm tempted to say I'd play it over 2016 any day. And now, it's time for number 1! Winner of the Golden RoboCop Head for Excellence. The best game I played in 2025. A lot of you already know what it's gonna be. It's Silent Hill Wait, that can't be right. Oh, I mixed up my papers, sorry. It's Chronos: The New Dawn. Hot damn, how is this game so good? Bloober Team comes back from winning my most disappointing of 2024 with the Silent Hill 2 remake and knocks it out of the park with an original title that demonstrates the enormous passion pulsating at the core of their studio. Does passion pulsate? Anyway, I made a big deal out of this game in my review, claiming it as the first true hybrid of survival horror and action horror. While there have been titles in both genres that have flirted with the other by including certain things, the Dead Space remake comes to mind, Chronos is the first to make it feel like I was playing something that had its feet firmly in both genres the entire time. It's the resource limit, map design, and corpse burning mechanic that makes me feel like I'm playing Resident Evil. And it's the save room item shop, high octane action, and item spawning corpses that make me feel like I'm playing Dead Space. Constantly exploring for a health pack, crafting explosives or crafting shotgun shells, upgrading my inventory space or raising my resource limit, prioritizing deadly enemies, choosing to burn corpses to stop mutations, or using fire to stun enemies for focused damage, or using the fire activation iframes to escape a fatal blow. All the decisions you have to make turn Chronos into one of the most exciting and cerebral horror titles in recent memory. On top of that, we have breathtaking visuals that immerse us in this strange and depressing post-apocalyptic world that we're exploring in search of hope and answers, trying to figure out what happened here and who we are. Character dialogue is mysterious and interesting, well performed too. The story itself is handled a bit clumsily and drawn out. The end is kinda and there are way too many notes to read. But since I played the game 5 times, I think, I took the time to study what they all said, and I came to appreciate how they weaved everyone's personal stories together. I'm not going to pretend I fully understand it, but I enjoyed it. I hate that I can't skip the character choice cutscenes, though. They murder the replayability, and we absolutely need the addition of a higher difficulty, and modifiers. But Chronos: The New Dawn is a solid effort that should be celebrated, because if they can follow this up, we could be getting one of the greatest games ever made. I know the common folk know me for Doom, but the Mayo folk know me for survival horror. Where my boys at? Where my boys?
Yeah, I got you. I know you.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know you.
bring it in, man. Bring it, hell yeah, hell yeah.
And I got you whiskey.
Whiskey, but I stopped drinking.
Oh well, you are about to start again.
Oh. Oh, God. Every year we gotta go through this. I don't even waste my time with a best of list. All anyone's gonna want to see is the worst. Fucking negativity obsessed freaks. Probably just gonna skip right to the end anyway. Oh, Mayo hates everything that isn't Doom. See, he hated this one game that I like. Alright. Let's get this over with. First, we gotta do the most disappointing. A game that I do enjoy enough, probably enough to put it in the best, but it has so many problems that I just can't bring myself to do it upon some serious reflection. Ninja Gaiden 4. I know it's controversial in the Ninja Gaiden space to say you like this game. It seems like the entire discussion is between people who say it's an abomination and people who say it's the best action game ever made. I'm not engaging with those people. I thought it was pretty fun sometimes, and other times I thought it was a slog. When I really felt pushed, I was in the zone, using all the mechanics, pulling off stylish combos, feeling good. But around halfway through the campaign, it just wore on me. It got old. The enemies are so tanky, they just live forever. The butt-ugly visuals, flaws in the design surrounding the armor system, character speed, suck to target, it all gets harder and harder to overlook. I get why the hardcore fans dislike this game, as it really does fundamentally alter the Ninja Gaiden combat loop through its mobility and defense additions. It's got a bunch of on-the-rails, essentially QTE sections, and I spent half my video pointing out that the room-to-room checkpoint system completely destroys your resource management by filling up your HP on death. There's just so many problems. I still enjoy it. I can pop it on and beat up some fools for a couple hours while having a beer with a friend, but then I get tired of it. I wanted this to be my game of the year. The Ninja Gaiden series is a series that I don't replay. I play those games once or twice, I love them, but I don't stick to them. I wanted this to be the one that would be so good that I had to play it over and over, and it's not. I wanted it to be the one that finally made me want to dominate Master Ninja like all the pros that talk about this game endlessly. I know I can do it if I put my mind to it, but Ninja Gaiden 4 just doesn't make me want to do it. I don't want to play it anymore. I couldn't even finish it. Yes, this is one of those occasional Mayo didn't finish the game moments. I'm sorry. I got bored, and for all the issues I have with NG1 and 2, I at least finished them. Couldn't do it here. Sorry Ninja Gaiden 4, you're fun in a way, you almost made it to the general best category with all the rest, but you're too unfun in too many ways that matter. Adios muchacho. Now! Welcome to the shit show. Do you want to know how I know 2025 was a great year? I don't have many games on the worst list. In previous years, I've had up to 6. This year, I actually had to go scrolling through all my Steam titles looking for something I didn't like. I was like, there's gotta be something else. Just 2? 2 games are on the worst list? Well, if that's how it is, that's how it is. I'm not gonna force something on here just to make this part of the video more entertaining. 2 games. Runner-up, RoboCop Unfinished Game. Guys, what happened? Rogue City was one of my favorite games of 2023, a love letter to RoboCop fans, a day in the life of Officer Alex Murphy. A phenomenal achievement given the size of the studio that made it and their budget. For every big flaw that game has, I can give you 3 things it does great. It's the opposite for Unfinished Business. Instead of being set in Detroit, it's just a drawn-out trek up a single OCP building. Everything is cement and metal, uninteresting and samey. The NPCs are painfully uninteresting, as are the crimes you solve. The performance, at least when I played it, was awful. The ending fell flat compared to Rogue City, and there's no multiple endings anymore. There's a new environmental insta-kill system, which would be cool if it didn't break the first-person immersion every time by cutting away to show RoboCop doing it. I think the only thing I really liked were the main villains. I found the bad guy and the rogue scientist to both have really interesting stories. It's a tale of moral corruption, doing bad to accomplish your supposedly righteous goals. I liked it. It just wasn't very fun to play most of the time. The Ed 209 section was a neat little power trip, but nothing else. In a better game, I would have appreciated it more. And the appearance of the RoboCop 3 ninjas is a complete failure, as they're the biggest pussies in the game. The new flying and rolling drones are far more deadly and annoying. They're everywhere. Hey, no one plays a RoboCop game to shoot at drones, okay? We want to see heads and dicks exploding. That shouldn't be hard to understand. Yeah, whatever. It's time for number 1. Winner of the Murphy Pendleton Award for Awfulness. What's it gonna be, huh? What's it gonna be? Let's stop pretending. You know it's the worst of the year. I know it's the worst of the year. The game with the worst gameplay and the most insufferable fans, Silent Hill F. Look, I'm not saying that if you're a fan and you stand up for this game, that there's a problem with you. I know people who like this game a lot, and I have no problem with them. But the ranting online by some of these people calling anyone a fake fan for not accepting it as a true Silent Hill game, they are the absolute worst. If this is a true Silent Hill game to you, fine. But don't tell the rest of us that we just don't understand Silent Hill if we take issue with what Konami is doing with this series. For me, anything that stems from the short messages Silent Hill phenomenon theory gets thrown right out the fucking window. Some love parts of it while disliking others. Some think it's just disappointing, but with good ideas. And then there's me, who has a burning hatred for it. Not scary, boring, terrible combat, and way too much of it. 5,000 notes you gotta read and 4 full playthroughs to have any idea what's going on. And of course it's another "it's all a mental representation of her inner trauma" bullcrap story that has nothing to do with the actual manifestation powers seen in the original games. I'd rather play Silent Hill 2 Remake any day, and I'm no fan of that game. I'd rather play Silent Hill Downpour. Yeah, that's how bad it is.
Actually, Downpour is underrated.
Shut up! No one cares! If I had to choose between rotting in hell for eternity playing Silent Hill Downpour, or a single day playing Silent Hill F at an island resort being served margaritas by Elle Fanning and Margaret Qualley, well, tell Satan to get his pitchfork ready, because he can do no worse to me than this game already has. Silent Hill F, you are the worst of 2025. Konami, you are the worst for what you've done to this series. I hate you all. I hate myself. I hate this fucking cup. I don't have anything else to say. What do you think? What are your best and worst games of 2025? Leave them in a comment and make sure to donate to me on Patreon so I can keep paying for my back pain medication. What games are you looking forward to in 2026? Is there a new Souls-like everyone's excited about? Are you angry over something you saw in the Resident Evil 9 trailer? Tell me all about it. Please, I can't wait to hear it. Thanks, everybody. Hope you had a good holiday.